morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Kowa Sports Warrior Race. We're out here on the Volcano Circuit for 4 laps, 19 kilometers in total. We'll be covering the A category out here today. We've got a minute to go to a start of the race. We are doing this today in partnership with Kowa Sports. I do have Kent Cross alongside me today, and let's just give a little quick stinger to who they are and what they are all about with Kowa Sports, new esports broadcasting as well as coaching company. And we'll be into the racing in about 40 seconds or so.
Emily Watts per kilo by Sproul.
Jason's coming back. Chris is coming back over the top.
And Kowa Sports obviously putting a lot of work in when it comes to putting all of the racing out here together. And I want to welcome to the program alongside of me as the racers are kicking off here, and we're watching Pennantine as well as a few others get out onto course here. Kent Cross is going to be joining me alongside for commentary. Kent, it looks like we got quite a few riders in the pens out here today. I'm counting, I believe, over 100 out there today. It looks to be super fast. Anybody that's on your radar here today, Kent?
Hey, Nath, it's great to be here. And yeah, it's certainly quite a big field today. There's a few names on the radar, some returning names that we sort of see each week in the race. But we've got Luke, I'm going to try and pronounce this name, French, Luc Gilbert. He's in the race. He won last week on the Friday's Watopia flat course. So the Friday races are usually always renowned to be a lot faster. So look out for him. We've also got Sean Panoter from Evoke Racing and Josh Harrison from Cryogen. So it's looking to be a pretty fast race.
Yeah, Cryogen, I'd be watching out for them always. Obviously, they are in the TDZ racing as well. We are seeing our Blue up toward the front, too. I'd be watching out for Blue. Very strong rider. Talbot as well from Splunk. He is a rider I've always watching out for. Now, going off the front, though, we do have Rob Britt here from the KISS Racing team. Obviously, KISS Racing team, long-standing esports team out on Zwift. So he's jumping ahead here real quickly. I'm going to see if we can move our way forward here, though, as it looks like we're going to have Toledo Torpedo, actually, who's also live streaming, I believe, from the ODZ race here. So good to see the Torpedo here jumping into the race as well. So definitely attracting a lot of the new school and old school racers out on Zwift here. So good to see that the Torpedo's here. But Rob Britt, I believe, off the front here at this point with a breakaway situation, sitting in the top 5 now, as he has been caught by the front end of the A category here at this point. Snagglepuss here from Cryogen, Stingforce there as well. I think they've been showing up to a lot of the races. Get a little jump around here quick. We're going to see if we can stick with the front end of the race. But Sullivan as well, ODZ, teammate of the Toledo Torpedo, actually. But Corrigan, that's a name as well that we've seen out here many times, I think, as coming from the US of A. Usually been pretty aggressive off the front. Giuliano's here again, the experienced triathlete. We've talked about him plenty, and it seems like these liking the Kowa Sports race. So good to see that Ryan Giuliano from the draft team is showing up as well.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And Ryan also last week a heavy feature in the Kowa Sports race. I think he finished 3rd. He was actually my pick to win, but he got rolled by Luke. So yeah, definitely heating up for a great race as they start to enter the volcano, as we like to call it, the Kowa Sports Rock, as they're just about to head in now.
Now, interesting to see Giuliano here. I believe that he was a part of the race earlier this morning, actually, this morning/afternoon. I'm going to have to take a look through his Whip Power results here real quick and see if I do find what ended up happening with the race for the Tour de Zwift, because I thought I saw him in the signups for the Tour de Zwift here. We'll have to double check here with the live results. As Giuliano here. Interesting to see if he's doing a double on the day and taking on the Kowa Sports as well as the TDZ. But Draft was definitely a force in the race earlier today as well here. But Sean Pantalleri, I'll be watching out for him for Evoke here. I think he's showing up A-plus rider. Rob Bird as well. Luke Gilbert, as you had said. And now Alessandro Sproul. Sproul is a name that has been showing up a lot of times with 4 laps to go here. Sproul, I think, though, is another rider, though, that's been showing up for KOA from the get-go before we started tracking some of these big names from the esports world of Zwift.
Yeah, Sproul was one of the OG racers that started with us alongside people like Alex Side. So it's good that now he's got a bit of competition. I think sometimes it puts him in his place a little bit because it's also a very, very strong rider up against some of these guys. You've really got to hammer hard.
Yeah, definitely, that's for sure. Now, Blue here making his way to the front, the Japanese rider, always want to watch out for. Raced against him many a times in the KISS 100 races. He's got some endurance, but we'll see if he's got the kind of kick that's going to be needed for the sprint, because that's what it's going to be all about, I think, in this race. It's going to be hard to break away. Only 4 laps. They're going to have to see some big numbers if anybody wants to try and make something happen early on. Luke making his way to the front there again, though, coming out of Canada. Now we'll see if that's going to make any kind of a move, but it's going to be all about this climb. They're going to go along the ocean here for a moment, and then it's going to be a right-hand 180-degree turn into a 2-tier climb into the volcano. A little bit of an uphill gradient onto that on that first kick, and then the second kick a little bit softer, but definitely an opportunity. You know, the reality of that first kick followed up by some sort of speed and then a second kick over the top. If somebody is in a little bit of trouble, that is a good spot to try and get away, but they got to have continuance, and a lot of times people don't always continue that effort as they see the pack come along with them. We'll see if anybody wants to really try and make something happen as we do head into this section here. It is going to be Snagglepuss here, 4.4 watts per kilogram. Now 4.4 coming from Luke. Now up toward the front here, it is going to be Luke again here, as you had said. One to watch out for, and the Canadian putting out 8.4 watts per kilogram here. Snagglepuss now 9.2. Orange numbers like crazy, and they know they need to burn matches completely. There's no waiting around. Rob Britt's going as well. Feather power up being blown there at 8 watts per kilogram right now. That is 600 plus watts, 175 beats per minute. The chase is on, but I think this is going to split things up early on. We'll see who can really hang on at this point, and I have a feeling we're going to see a much smaller group once we get to the volcano here.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's like anything, is a good bit of tactics from these guys, because if they can break up the group, you know, you're looking in Zwift, it's very hard to close a gap. You know, like yesterday, for instance, the winner of our race, Mike Cumming, from Madison Genesis, he attacked halfway, 15-second gap he got, and he won by 10. So it's just, if you can get a big gap, it's really hard to close the group.
Did we actually see Madison Genesis showing up to yesterday's race? So you guys had in real life UCI Continental team jumping into the KOA Sports race, actually. Good to hear, good to see. And Madison Genesis hammering away out there. Now, I believe we do see here that Giuliano Proco now there as well, trying to make the chase happen now. Sproul now, Huber there as well. It does look like Luke G now still with the gap, but it doesn't look like it's going to go exactly where he had planned as the group brings him back. Going to be difficult, as we said, in order to try and break away from this kind of group. But we do have a 4-second gap back here. A couple of here trying to get back on terms. Jeffrey Creel, actually, the South African national champion, is out here on the day, was caught out a little bit here. You see him at 159 beats per minute, so full-on Zwift national champion jersey in game here as Creel jumps back on terms. A lot of firepower in this pack, obviously, if Creel was falling off the pace here. Now, watch out for him with the sprint. He's going to be sitting in the back looking for a little reprieve, most likely, at this point. It does look like it is going to be Thule coming on back into the pack here. But Creel, has this a two-a-day for him, would be my question. But some serious firepower if he's showing up on the day here.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting that he was a little bit off the back. It's I don't think you want to do that too often, because, as you say, each time it's just going to get a little bit harder, especially with those 2 kicks. But it looks like he's back in the group now, so, you know, a bit of reprieve there. So he just settle into his power and find his rhythm.
Yeah, hopefully does do just that. We'll have to wait and see how that ends up playing out for Creel, as it did look like he was in a little bit of spotter bother there for a moment. We'll have to wait and see if it happens again the second time around here. Looking through the pack, though, it does look like everybody's kind of calming it on down. As we move forward just a little bit here, it is going to be Von Walder now at 4.2 watts per kilogram, 141 beats per minute. So quite a few of these riders, I think, have just kind of been holding back on the extreme ends of the power, just been allowing the pack to kind of carry them forward as much as possible. Moving up, though, it is going to be, again, Snagglepuss continues to push the pace here for Cryogen. 4.2 watts per kilogram. We're starting to go into 3 to go. 3 to go as there's a little kick. Now this is interesting here. The climb into it's not so much of a climb as it would be going the other direction as they enter into the volcano, but it is still a little bit of an uphill grind, and that final kick can be deceptive. We do see a lot of times somebody does get away with a little bit of a gap, and then quickly it gets closed down to them in that last 100 meters because of the reality that 3% or so gradient to the finish line. We have to watch out for how riders will finish that up. They can carry speed through that last 100 meters. But see Blue now making his way to the front. It looks like, as well as Stinkforce, Sullivan there as well. And now Sproul, the one we were talking about a few times there, it does look like Sproul, 4.3 watts per kilogram, just following any kind of moves that might be trying to get away. And it looks like they've been covered well. Everybody's kind of calmed down. I think the attacks over the top of that climb have really put the heart rates a little bit over what they were expecting out there today.
Yeah, I think so. It's these flat sections are really the time where you want to just recover as best you can. Although it's it's easier said than done when you're in the hot box in your room. But if you can recover as best you can before those hard efforts up the climbs, it will make a difference. You see a lot of new people coming into Zwift racing, and they don't quite grasp it, and they just go gun ho from the beginning. And it then bites them a couple laps later. So it's really about smart riding, just like you would in real life.
Now looking through the current stats in the background here as far as the live results that are going right now, I am seeing on the rider we're looking at right now, it is going to be Sproul averaging, I believe it said somewhere around 4 watts per kilogram I'm seeing. So solid effort here so far coming from Alessandro Sproul. It looks, I'm looking through the... yeah, 4.3 watts per kilogram has been the average. So now I believe most of that is from this kick, though. The reality of each time around here, this 8 plus watts per kilogram, as you're seeing coming from Ryan Giuliano here from the draft team now, 9.8 watts per kilogram. They're 159 beats per minute here, as you can see. Sproul now coming on through at 7.3, trying to cover that move. Not sure if this is a full-on attack from Sproul or just making sure he's not getting dropped off the back. I think that's mainly just making sure that he's involved in any kind of attack at this point. We do see a couple of riders starting to struggle there, as we do see Blue here moving backwards a little bit. Britt here with the follow-up. And that's what it's going to be all about to make something happen. A quick little 15 to 20 second effort into 8 watts per kilogram. Not going to hurt the pack too bad, but if they do continue on through this section here into that 6 plus with some sort of speed, they may be able to break this pack. We do see Huber on the back there, unable to hang on. Now it's going to be Franco Brand there as well. Tooley, Allen as well. Junior from the Dirt team. Sproul here on the back a little bit, maybe just barely hang on. He's got the wheels though, so he's not going to have too much to worry about unless somebody continues on with a counter attack on the front. Now Makazi here now as well. Moving back, though, it's going to be Klassen suffering off the back. Creel hanging steady here now, just grabbing wheels. Now, where is the heart rate of Jeffrey Creel? 154 beats per minute. Following moves, it looks like, and waiting to pounce, I believe, here is the reality of what Creel is up to. I'm going to keep a lookout, though, here, because interesting to see the way that he is playing this. And is this actually a little bit of hurt in the legs here for Creel, who perhaps is suffering a little bit on the day now. I am looking through over at ZwiftPower.com at the live results, and I am seeing that on the day today, it does look like Giuliano did have a rough day perhaps on the Tour de Zwift Pro-Am race. I'm seeing a 60th place for him. Maybe there was some sort of a dropout? Averaging 4.7 watts per kilogram, though, for the duration of that race. So jumping back out here today, perhaps... oh, no, that was back on the 15th. So I think Giuliano actually not on the race today, if I'm not incorrect. We have to double check that. Yeah, so no racing on the Tour de Zwift perhaps today for Giuliano. But 5.8 watts per kilogram coming from him. I thought I saw him signed up for it. Perhaps, though, the day off for him for the draft team and just showing up and focusing on the COA today here. But that was actually back in the, I think he gave a couple of too many kicks off the front of the last time around in the stage number 2. And then ended up off the back because of that. So, but today in the COA Sports, maybe going to be one to watch out for.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, Ryan's a 70.3 age group world champion, so he certainly knows how to hurt and how to handle that sort of faster paced efforts that 70.3s do have. So I think he'll want a bit of redemption from last week.
Yeah, 100%. 100% going to be looking for, I think, redemption from that, as well as showing up on the Koa races here. I think these are starting to become something of a little bit of a Palmares, as well as they're starting to attract a whole lot of talent here, especially in a new time zone that some other people might not be able to race during the focus on the European time zone. And now we have this North American slash also able to serve the Australian area as well here. So. Or the lands down under. So Endo here now. Team Finns, as you can see, speaking of those that are a little bit more down under or to the east. Endo, Team Finns, 3.9, 4.6 watts per kilogram coming in. Talbot sitting in. A little bit of a gap, though, back to Klassen here. Klassen usually stays involved in the race here, but has to give it a little kick. Was maybe a little inattentive, but grabs back on. Looks like going to be making it into the top 30 still. I believe we have 30-plus riders still amongst this group. Creel still sitting at the back of this group. This seems extremely tactical here from Jeffrey Creel. We were talking about Alex West having this kind of a tactic. We're just always kind of sitting toward the back. So it looks like I'd be watching out for some sort of a dynamite to pop off from Creel at a certain point at 144 beats per minute in this group.
Yeah, that's an incredibly low heart rate for a Zwift race. So I'd say you're exactly right, Nathan. He's certainly just biding his time, saving his legs ready for a quick last couple of laps, because you do tend to see on this next lap coming that it's going to start to pick up the pace, and then that last lap is almost, a sprint towards the finish.
Yeah, 100%. I am seeing a couple of people coming through in the chat here. Jabir's kick must mean someone needs to go long to stand a chance against that. I'm hearing from one of the viewers over at, that's going to be Becky's dad. So good to see great Christopher Stout's out there as well. Do you need HR to be in the results? I believe Kent. I'm not I'm not a race organizer here. I show up for productions and commentating. But as far as KOA's rules go, HR required to be in the final results.
Yep, that's right. Like you would on any other race to get classified: heart rate monitor, Zwift power, credentials.
Yep, so 100% Zwift power credentials. Christopher Stout, thanks a lot for jumping with the questions here. Now, Talbot on the attack, though, here. Now, 9 watts per kilogram coming from him. He's got a 2-second gap. We've got a little over a lap and a half to go. This is a really good move, I think, here. I think a lot of the riders have kind of been sitting in, waiting. If he gets enough of a gap here and somebody comes across, like Luke, he could make this happen. Snagglepuss looking to follow it up. Do they get the gap, though, over the rest of the field is going to be the question. The field could sit in and just get dragged along by this kind of an effort here. We are seeing Talbot continue on at 4.2 watts per kilogram. It just might not be enough, though, at 188 beats per minute here. Luke G there coming on through along with Snagglepuss, and it is all back together. They did drop a couple of more off, it does look like. A couple of the beat riders unable to hang on. We're looking through. It looks like C. Kelly here, 1 second back, just barely grabbing back on. Creel, again, falls off
Creel
and just kind of rolls himself back into the race here over and over again, and only 162 beats per minute, almost like he's playing with the group here at this point. We'll see if it is or if it's actually some point of suffering, because with 1 lap to go, I think that's when we're going to actually find out.
Yeah, I reckon I'm with you, Nathan. I reckon he's a little bit of sandbagging. I reckon he's going to start moving his way towards the front as the group will eventually start to splinter a little bit on that last lap.
Yeah, 100%. We'll have to wait and see how that ends up playing out here. It looks like, though, like you said, he may be just playing with it a little bit here. Sullivan there, EXNODZ, making his way to the middle of the pack now, just trying to find the right position. It looks like here we'll be heading back into the volcano. This straight right here is always the section that we have to question. How are they going to finish up? The next time they come through here, I have a feeling we're going to see somebody going long. It almost happened.
Early, yep.
A couple of weeks ago, we were on this exact course, and it came right down to the final wheel length after trying to get away through this section. See if somebody can make that happen again. Going to be, someone who's not maybe confident in the kind of kick that they have comparatively into those 1,500 watts or something like that, somewhere between 11 to 1,500 watts quickly, but somebody who's got more of that long, drawn out 7, 8, 900 that they can hold right in that area for quite a long time, and see if they can hold off and catch the rest of the pack sleeping.
Yeah, I reckon Ryan will probably be one to go early. And I reckon maybe Luke will follow, but we'll see.
Yeah, interesting to see here how the riders are playing this. Nobody really able to get away. It's all about that climb each time, and they've really left it to that climb each and every lap so far. The tactics have been all about the two-tier back in the volcano. Now, this is the negative. You can see negative percent gradient. Now, we're going to see what they're going to experience right here through the finishing time, the next time they come on through on the next lap. A little bit of a 0% gradient right here. It flattens out, so the speeds will be high, but right here, this final little kick gives an opportunity for somebody to come flying by with any kind of speed and power over the top. They'll have to carry a lot of speed in, and it'll be that final little punch that may win the race now. Now it's just one lap to go, 15.3 kilometers in. We're watching Franco Brand here right now, 3.7 watts per kilogram. Everything fairly calm. Looking through some of these heart rates, 157, and we are seeing Bergjan here now coming through at 163. A little bit up in a saddle, though. I did see it might have been Sproul there, or perhaps was that, Stinkforce perhaps, but Sproul looked like was getting a little antsy. I do not blame him, as it's been a fairly calm race so far with just a couple of kicks to try and break things apart, but it looks like everybody's waiting for that sprint. I wonder if anybody's going to try and get away. Are there any predictions? Chat, let us know. Who do you think is going to take the win? We are following along with you out there today. And who do you think is going to, will it take this W out here today? Will it be Creel? Will it be Giuliano with a long attack there? Perhaps Sproul here looking to take back the Koa Sports podium today, perhaps. I mean, lots of big hitters here to be watching out for. And for my prediction, I am going to go with Creel. He's been sitting on the back here. He's got the national champions kit for a reason, and I have a feeling we're going to see some dynamite coming from him. Very well timed. He's won time and again on courses just like this.
Yeah, that's a pretty good prediction, Nathan. I'm just trying to have a look through to see if Sean is in there from Evoke, but I can't quite see him. So that's interesting if he's maybe dropped off or maybe didn't make the race.
Yeah, interesting to see. He did show up in the start line, but it's looking that perhaps he may have not gotten off the line, though. So we'll have to wait and see if he does that suddenly show up in the race here. Maybe there's a dropout or something along those lines. Now, looking through some of the best power numbers, though, I'd be watching out also for Steven Huber here. This is a rider here. Seeing some crazy. Yeah, and he is still involved in the race here. Steven Huber, I'm seeing 1,108 watts actually for his personal best on a 15-second there. I'm seeing also, though, obviously Luc Joubert there at a 1,200, I believe I saw for a second there. So Luke with a huge kick. Team Cryogen, though, Snagglepuss there, that's Josh Harrison. That is a rider over thousands as well. Anybody who can throw over 1,000. Alexander Sproul here, he hasn't been able to throw down with the timing perhaps, but he's got the numbers. As he's able to kick, from what I can see, into 1,100 watts or so, 14.8 watts per kilogram. So another rider here that hasn't had the opportunity recently on some of these flatter courses, but maybe with that little bit of a kick and some good timing, might be able to take a Koa Sports here again after a few weeks of not being on the podium, I believe.
Yeah, I think Sproul's really pushing to stay with the group now, which, like you said, in previous races, he's just been dropped on that last lap and hasn't been able to sort of show what he's capable of, and we know he's capable of a really hard sprint. So keep an eye out for him. But I think, like you said, Luc Joubert has quite a heavy sprint finish over 1,200 watts as well. So I reckon I'm going to put my money on him again to win.
Yeah, I am seeing a little bit of chatter coming on through here, and this is a good one coming on through from Neil Ostenfeld, actually, coming from the Evoke team. So he's a very experienced racer, and he's saying, look out for Talbot, launch one going long here, and that's definitely a good call out there. I believe Talbot is one to watch out for. Also, Luke G with some big watts, he's saying as well, Neil, so great call outs there coming from Neil. We're also seeing, from what I can see here, Greg Cohen being called out by Becky's dad here. Greg Cohen saying 14.4 watts per kilogram as well. Scott here, it's Scott here coming through with Giuliano, saying that Giuliano may be the one to watch out for. But here we go, enough of the talk because the legs are starting to kick off here as we've got Glavak here going very early here now. This is with quite a ways to go. Corrigan's now starting to go here as well. Britt now carrying here. Snagglepuss now with 6.4 watts per kilogram. Are they going to be able to close this down? It's going to be the question. Glavak goes early almost every single time. Looks like it's getting dragged right on up though. Snagglepuss with 11 watts per kilogram with an arrow power up. Will Cryogen make it make this happen? This is from way out here now. Blue trying to follow this up. He might have this done here, Kent.
This is a big gap. Already 3 seconds over the group. I think Snagglepuss, Josh has it here.
We'll have to wait and see, though. There's still it's 4 seconds. 4 seconds to the line to try and hold on to the line now. But here comes Luke. Luke with the 12.4 watts per kilogram. That might be enough to make it happen. Open over the top of this 5% gradient. Sproul trying to come through as well. The speed is there. The speed is there. Will they be able to grab it, though? Is there enough room to the line? Looks like there's just enough room to the line. Luke is going to make it. It is going to be Gilbert there to the line. Snagglepuss can't come through. Talbot's not going to be able to make it happen. And it's him followed up, it looks like, by Coham. And then Giuliano. I believe that is the finishing order for the sprint to the line there. What a race. We're going to take a look at the replay in some slow-mo here in just a second. Let's see if we can bring that on in, as it looks like Snagglepuss trying to hang on along with Sproul coming on through, but look at the speed coming on from Luke Gilbert. Absolutely flying, 64 kilometers per hour. Let's look at this really quick. Back this up just a little bit here and watch the difference. 52, look at the difference in speed. 8.0, right? This is what Snagglepuss is doing. Kent, 52, right? And look at the difference from using the pack and the arrow power up. Watch the speed difference as we change. 64 kilometers per hour coming on, and the rest of the pack, they're trying to follow it up, but Luke just had too much of a kick as he pounced, looks like, at the perfect time on the perfect gradient. Oh, hold on one second, Kent. I apologize. Really quick here. We cut you off, but I'll get you back in here to the feed in 1 second here. But amazing job there coming on through. Kent, I got you now.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think Josh, he tried hard. He just went a bit early, and that's probably because his sprint isn't as good, and he knows that. So Luke just timed it well, and when you're pushing, 14 watts a kilo up to the finish line and you're rolling 12 kilometers an hour faster, there's not much you can do about it when that train comes past.
Yeah, absolutely amazing there. Absolutely amazing. Wow, really did need someone going long to beat Luke, and Becky's dad calling that out. And what a result there. We're looking at our winner here right now, cooling down 1.5 watts per kilogram coming from him. Lots of chatter still coming on through over at the Twitch channel as well as YouTube and Facebook. If you're unfamiliar with where all these are coming in, you can actually see exactly where they're coming in from at the lower right-hand corner as Scott comes through and say, he can do Scott earlier on chatting about Ryan there, as well as Mr. Steely Dan coming on through with saying that he got, and is that actually part of the race today, Mr. Steely Dan? Good to see, longtime viewer and always a part of the broadcast. So good to see Daniel Kelly coming on through with that result in 7th place. So as far as the results go out here today, let's go ahead and jump on over to zwippower.com, and we're going to see how things played out. It does look like it is Luke Gilbert. I believe I got that right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Send me a YouTube link to pronunciations. I'll go look them up after this. But coming on through for 1st place, followed by Greg Cohen in 2nd place. Ryan Giuliano, solid result there actually in 3rd. Stephen Huber there coming through for 4th, and David Talbot there holding on for 5th. Josh Harrison holds on for 6th after that long attack. Daniel Kelly coming in for 7th place. Alejandro Sproul for 8th. Guy Bergeron there for Equip JZQ coming through for 9th. And then Blue out of Japan. That's your top 10 in the A category today. Next week, we got another Koa Warrior race for everybody out there today. Next week, Kent?
Yep, we do. We're coming to you from the Sand and Sequoias. 1 lap of that. Always a good race, so looking forward to that one.
Absolutely awesome. Thanks a lot, Kent. I appreciate you jumping in with the broadcast with us today, providing some great commentary and all the work that Koa Sports is doing. You guys, if you want to jump into these, we'll be doing these every Thursday night here in the USA. What time is it over there, Kent?
So the race starts at 9 a.m. Our
9
time, Brisbane.
a.m. So getting up early to get ready for productions over there in Australia. Thanks a lot for doing so, and always good to have you on the
That's all
broadcast,
right,
Kent.
mate. Pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers. All right, guys. So next up for broadcasting, we are going to be live next Tuesday with the 3R Ultimate Racing League. Been really heating up with the Ultimate Racing League. And then we've got a few more announcements to come for some new series. I do believe we've got something new for you next Thursday to be watching out for sure. Some announcements that were coming around from the esports team, Team Callus, and some cool partnerships over there. So watch out for that. If you want to know anytime we are going live, make sure to hit that follow button wherever you are watching, as well as notifications go. We also have DwitzCommunityLive.com. Make that a tab for you, and that is the best way to know when we are going live. As you get a notification that says, "Hey, Dwitz Community Live is live," wherever you might be watching, Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. Thanks everybody for tuning in as always, and great job to the racers. Ride on.